Hello YouTube, and welcome to the first episode, first real world review I should say, from Bramley Motor Cars. And today we're going to be looking at this absolutely stunning SLS AMG. This one's been finished in a Xeno blue with an ivory leather interior. It's covered just 9,000 miles since new. Absolutely phenomenal. Obviously instantly recognisable with the gull-wing doors. Fantastic looking car. Considering now it's 8 years old. Obviously this was released in 2010, this car. So you know, covered just over 1,000 miles a year since new. Absolutely stunning to look at. I'll show you a close-up here. The signs of wear on the seats are almost non-existent. Absolutely almost brand new condition. No creasing. This is the driver's side, sort of door side lumbar, which you know usually shows some signs of wear and tear, but absolutely nothing at all. Same goes for the passenger side here. No signs of wear. Absolutely crystal white. Beautiful, beautiful. Obviously the infotainment screen in the middle there. This is a 7-speed DCT transmission fitted into this car, which is super fast, everything considering. This car's now, as I said, 8 years old. But the blips on the downshifts are phenomenal. You know, something you'd expect from a new car leaving the factory now. Absolutely amazing. This uses a 6.3 litre naturally aspirated V8, which is obviously tuned by AMG. I think a lot of people thought this was the same engine used in the C63, but actually, although it's the same block, it's much more tuned up, and it's seriously noticeable. This car performance is absolutely astounding, even by today's standard, unbelievable. I think obviously the real set-off feature for it is when you pop those doors. It looks absolutely superb. Awesome car, awesome car. Part of the car was the 6.3 litre engine. I thought I'd give you a quick look at that and just how immaculate this is. So if I spin you around here, it is absolutely phenomenal. So it's quite surprising how far back the engine actually sits when you look at the front of the car. Obviously the SLS is renowned for the long bonnet and the long nose of the car, but actually it's incredible how they've managed to get the engine sitting so far back on the front of the chassis there. And obviously bolstered at the front by two seriously large air intakes and air boxes. But it's a great bit of kit. Fantastic stuff. Obviously the AMG forged 5-spoke wheels, or 10-spoke wheels I should say. Recognisable by the 6.3 on the side. This one's fitted with the optional aluminium fuel cap as well. I know it's only small, but it's a nice touch. The noisy bit at the back there. It's such an awesome car. So I think maybe on that note, it's probably time we go and take it for a drive. See you out on the road. So guys, you're now joining me in the driving seat of the 2010 Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG. What an experience, fantastic, beautiful place to sit, to be. I'm quite tall, I'm 6'4". When I first sat in, I thought I might have a little bit of a problem with, you know, headroom and stuff, but actually once you get the seat settled, it's absolutely fine. It's actually quite astounding for such a sporty car how much visibility you have out of here. You've got full, you know, you've got full view out of your mirror here. Windscreen's fantastic. Sort of looking down over this, I wouldn't say daunting, but you know, pronounced nose of the SLS. Enormous front end. You know, obviously harking back to the days of the 300 SL, and also kind of the E-Type Jag. I was lucky enough to drive one of those last year, and driving it around, it sort of has this presence on the road of the enormous front end of the car, and you get the same sort of feeling once you're sat in here. Beautiful engine note that the 6.3 litre V8 produces, and I think what's really weird about it is how drivable it is. For anyone that might have driven a modern day Mercedes, the switches are the same. You know, you've got your I'm in comfort mode at the moment. You've got your sport plus manual, obviously traction control off, but I think we'll leave that on today. We had some light rain earlier, so I imagine the roads will be pretty greasy. Very up to date readout from the dials up front here, clear, don't look outdated at all. Seats are exceptionally comfortable, and I think what's the overall impression wasn't here is the smell. It just smells like a new factory car, which is obviously beautiful. It's a really, really lovely place to sit. Everything feels tight. I said it's only a 9,000 mile car, and we actually had someone down at Bramley last year who had one of these and owned one of these cars since 2010 and had done over 100,000 miles in it. It had been serviced correctly, but you know, the overall sense being with these things is that they're pretty bulletproof. The engines are sublime, well put together, and they sound fantastic. I'm just coming through a small village at the moment, just the other side of Bramley Motor Cars, but this is a really fantastic place to sit. And I would even say, you know, it feels more special than something new. 8 years old, but my word, this is a fantastically put together car. As I mentioned earlier on, the gearbox is incredible. I mean, I imagine, I didn't drive this car in 2010, but I imagine if you were lucky enough to drive one of these, you must have been blown away by it. It's driving through that village there, it's absolutely fine at low speeds, comfortable. Dare I even say a daily driver? Maybe not for investment purposes, but it's certainly manageable. I suppose if we flick it into manual mode, so we now got the paddles on the steering wheel. It's nice as well, they actually move with the wheel. I know there's sort of a fad at the moment with newer cars, them being fixed, but obviously if you're at full lock it's quite hard to find the gear. But we're sat very comfortably now in fifth. Very little wind noise. There's a slight burble at the back, doing 2,000 RPM, and it's very, very comfortable. You can flick it down to, there's third, and there you go, you can sort of hear the engine noise pick up there. Into fourth, very fast. It's really something to behold. It's fantastic. This car comes equipped as well with reversing cameras, front and rear parking sensors. Obviously having such a big bonnet can make it slightly difficult sometimes if you're in tight spaces, but you've got your sensor up on the dashboard here, making life much easier if you're in car parks or wherever it may be, going out for dinner, that sort of thing. The steering's lovely, light at low speeds, firms up a bit when you get going. It's a real occasion driving one of these. I think that's the only way you can put it, is that it's a real occasion. From the moment you open up the gull-wing door, you know, to the moment you get out again, everything about it is an occasion. And it's got your radio, it's got the, you know, it's got a premium sound system in it, which is phenomenal. But the time that I've spent in it today, I think, is, you know, you appreciate it more having that sort of stuff turned off and just hearing the noise coming out of the rear. It's incredible how many looks you get in this car as well. I think it's because you see so few of them on the road now, and so few cars that look like this. You know, it's probably one of those vehicles that will go down in history as certainly something beautiful, but also great cars. This was released at a time when Ferrari released the 458, obviously a fantastic car every which way. And this was sort of at the other end of the spectrum. It was brute force as opposed to the refinement that Ferrari gave and the poised, you know, that was their USP really. But this is a hell of a car. Lovely place to be. Takes the bumps very well. It has got adaptive suspension in this model, but you know, we're sort of going around here on some of Surrey's country roads, which if you live in the area you will know are not renowned for their smoothness, but very, very comfortable. Coming out of a junction here, we're still in manual mode. It's fantastic noise, sublime. You've actually also got on the dial readout here an LED indicator for gear changes, which is nice. I know Ferrari do that, but this one uses 7 block colours, starting from a nice white LED light, coming orange, and then the last 2 is a red. We won't go that far. We'll put it back into comfort mode. But it's a really fantastic car, is all I can say really. And also you've got boot space. You know, this thing, as I said earlier, not only is it, you know, it's comfortable to drive, but you can put stuff in the boot. You could fit the shopping in. I'm not sure whether you'd want to, but it's nice that you could. Alcantara headlining. And the white or the ivory interior in here just sets it off against the blue. It's a phenomenal colour combination. I've actually not only never seen another SLS like this, I've never seen another car that looks like this. It's a very deep blue, which sort of has to be seen to be fully appreciated. But it's a phenomenal colour, set off by the ivory interior. You know, full leather dashboard. And there's not a mark on it anywhere. It's absolutely pristine. Just heading back into Bramley now. It's just overawing how usable this car is. They are just so versatile. Big things they are, but you know, they kind of don't feel it when you're in it. You get a lot of good feel back from the steering. You know where the wheels are. Everything feels just solidly made. The shifters here are, you know, there's a nice click. The indicators. This has cruise control, this car, as you'd expect. Automatic headlights, rain sensing, windows, wipers, that sort of thing. So it's got a heated front screen. The dials as well are all done in sort of this aluminium finish, which you kind of see all around here. But it really is lovely, really, really lovely. Just pulling back into Bramley Motor Cars now. We'll end this little video drive here. I'll give you a quick walk around of the car.